Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, Environment Secretary Michael Gove has denied that the government is dragging its feet over creating an environmental watchdog that will replace the oversight that currently comes from the European Union. The Prime Minister promised the body would be set up as part of her 25-year plan for the environment, announced in January. Well, with more on that, over to our science editor, Tom Clark, who's in a wood in Kent. Tom, first of all, why on earth are you there?
It's a very good point. This is a former MOD munitions dump, but it's called Lodge Hill in Kent. It's now the most important site in the UK for nightingales, one of our fastest declining birds. I wanted to bring you one singing live behind me, but this is being live television. There isn't one singing right now. This is what they look like, a fairly unassuming brown thrush-like bird, but it's their song that they're famous for. They're the virtuoso of the bird world. But I can assure you they are here. Earlier I walked down this track behind me into the scrubland here, which is perfect habitat for nightingales. We're one of the RSPB's leading experts on birdsong, and we heard them singing. Watch this.
Okay, so
that's it. That's the nightingale. It's unmistakable.
now we can't see it, but we can hear it. Tell me a little bit about it and its song.
Well, it is an incredibly elusive bird, and visually, it's quite unprepossessing. It's just like a small brown thrush, but vocally it's got power, it's got control. It is the soloist like no other in the bird world.
Why is this site, Lodge Hill, why is it so important for nightingales?
Wow, it's interesting. 85 singing males here, better than any other site in the UK, and it seems to be this mix of scrubby growth and sunny areas in the southeast of the country, which is their favoured quarter for a bird that has declined by 90% in the last 50 years.
So this site is very, very precious for...
The most important site in the whole of Britain.
Let's just have a quick listen.
Now, the other reason we're here is there is a potential threat to nightingales on this site. Medway Council has under pressure from government to build lots of new homes, 29,000 odd new homes in the Thames Estuary. This is one of 4 sites they've identified as part of a consultation on where to build those new homes. Conservationists are obviously very concerned about that. The other reason we're here, Michael Gove is in front of MPs in the Commons today, because under the 25-year plan, the government promised to set up a new watchdog body to arbitrate once we've left the EU in environmental areas of tension like this, where you have a developer and conservationists that will need for a strict conservation reason to want to protect an area. And he was questioned by MPs today about whether the government is dragging its feet over that green watchdog.
What I want to put to you is that we need to be keeping that speed up. So can I push you again on when we might see the consultation on this body?
I'd like to have it out as soon as I can.
Can you tell us whether or not there is opposition to elements of this body, to the details of this body amongst your cabinet colleagues?
What there is an effort on the part of my cabinet colleagues and officials to ensure that we get this right and that it works in the right way.
That, with respect, was not my question. Is there opposition amongst your cabinet colleagues to aspects of this body?
There is a desire to make sure that it works as well as it possibly can.
It's the second time, Secretary of State, where you've not answered a question.
Well, I think that...
In succession, not the second time ever, I hasten
No. There'll be many occasions where I failed to answer the question.
Well, joining me now is Martin Harper, who's the Conservation Director from the RSPB. Now, Martin, surely you welcome the establishment of some sort of green watchdog once we leave Europe, but are the government dragging their feet? Are they taking too long with this?
Well, we're not as relaxed as Michael Gove is, because obviously we're going to be leaving the European Union in less than a year. And what we need from the government, as well as good ambition, is the action to replace the lost environmental funding, institutions and laws, which will happen when we leave the European Union.
Just before we go on, can we hear any nightingales right now? Great tits.
Got a lot of great tits, a lot of black tits.
Black caps.
Black caps. And we have had nightingales early, and we've also had Mediterranean gulls going overhead.
It's still a special spot. But let me understand this. Why do we need that? Why is it so important that we have that body in a case like this, where nightingales are threatened in this particular situation,
Well, what we need is
potentially threatened, I should say, there is a consultation in progress.
what we need is a new body which is independent of government, which essentially is able to hold government to account for the decisions that it takes that affects the natural world. And so for a place like Lodge Hill, of course, if the decision goes the wrong way, we need to have recourse. And at a European level at the moment, we have the powers of the European Commission and the European Court of Justice. And what we're wanting is a body in place by the time that we leave the European Union, which can ensure that government lives up to its ambition of restoring nature in a generation.
Very quickly though, great opportunities leaving the EU to reshape, really redefine how we interact with nature in the UK. Don't you conservationists have to give a little too? There isn't much room for all of us. Aren't you going to have to give as well as take?
Well, ambitions around housing we support, but at the same time what we want from the government is a strategic approach to ensure that we have new houses alongside bigger, better protected areas such as here at Lodge Hill.
Thanks very much, Martin Harper.